All right, so here we go. Three, two, one. All right, everybody. Welcome to Top Gun Trainers. It's where Darin Steen, I go around and I find some of the more successful personal trainers in the world, and I take their lessons learned away and learn a lot of things that they're doing right and try to become better myself. So today, we're really fortunate. I got a young man on the other line today, Blake Bowman. Blake, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule and talking with us.
Yeah, Darin, pleasure to be here, man. Thank you for inviting me, brother.
You're welcome, man. And we're in the same neck of the woods, Chicagoland. I followed Blake's stuff online, his YouTube stuff. I was super impressed with it. And when I started to learn more about Blake, I said, I got to interview this guy and find out how he's doing what he's doing. So Blake is the owner of GorillaZenFitness.com. He does a lot of things. I probably won't even be able to cover everything that he does, but I'll tell you one thing right now. One thing that he did that impressed the hell out of me is here recently, a few months ago, he created $30,000 of income in 1 month with his online programs and services. And so I want to dive in deep and find out more about what you do, Blake. What I do know is that one of your niches is helping people with their posture, athletes that are broken and injuries, and you help them rehab those injuries with your techniques so that they can become strong again and pain-free. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I specialize in corrective exercise, and I kind of got into that because when I was back in my meathead days, when I was like just lifting extremely heavy weights, and I'm like an ectomorph, right? I'm a pretty skinny guy, not built like you, Darin, but I was deadlifting like 500 pounds raw, and doing a lot of stuff like that, which is pretty good for my body weight at the time when I was like 180 pounds. But long story short, I started getting injury after injury. My body was broken. I had to get shoulder, arthroscopic repair done. And I went on a journey to basically rehab myself, get rid of all my muscle imbalances, fix my posture. And I was able to do that effectively. That, along with some things like what we've talked about, prolotherapy, injections, lots of corrective exercise, lots of education about, corrective exercise, biomechanics, how to improve things like joint centration. I read a lot of physical therapy books. Basically, fix myself, and then I realized that, the knowledge that I gained and used to fix myself would be valuable to a lot of other people. So I started teaching people the things that I used on myself on YouTube, and, it's pretty much been downhill ever since.
Wow, that is amazing. And I'd like to say, pull out a couple more points that are even more impressive to me and should be to other trainers listening or wannabe trainers. And that is, Blake, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're only 27 years young currently, right?
Yep. 27.
And you started working out / meathead, like you said, like a lot of guys around the age of 16. So you only been doing that 10, 11 years, correct?
Yep. Been working out since I was 16. Yeah, 11 years. Been training.
Cool. And I can totally relate, brother, because at 52 to this Friday, most of my time is spent trying to fix, without surgeries or medications, what I tore up in my athletic career in the 3 decades ago. So yeah, I can totally relate. You and we're sort of kindred brothers in a few areas. I know you really like to go towards the holistic direction. You even starting another side business, I believe, holistic health hacks, which I'm all into. So and I think a lot of people realize that they're hurting themselves with their physical activity. I mean, let's face it, 500 pounds for an ectomorph deadlifting, that's an obscene amount of weight. I had a 14-year football career in '89. I was benching 420 pounds, squatting 600, 700 pounds uneven, even though the strength coaches meant well. But back in the 80s, we were just grinding it out after taking some caffeine and listening to Guns N' Roses. We didn't have a lot of knowledge, on the technique. And I've made some progress fixing my own body. So I applaud you to being able to, first of all, go towards fixing yourself without surgeries and medications by yourself at such a young age. But
I did get the one surgery. But what I know now about stem cell injections, PRP, and prolotherapy, I probably could have avoided that thing altogether.
There's no doubt about it. So bringing that knowledge to other people and giving them that example through us that you can do it the right way, the body has an incredible ability to heal itself, is a very powerful message, in my opinion.
Yeah, man.
And I'll tell you what I see a lot, Blake, is with the bodybuilders who do extreme things with using hormones and steroids and pushing the limit, is surgery after surgery after surgery after surgery. When you see a guy snapping a tendon when he's lifting a weight, it's usually caused because those tendons are weak from the steroids and the hormones.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Yeah, also, like, there's, like, alignment issues, right? So, like, in the shoulder, oftentimes, most people will not have optimal joint centration of the humerus in the joint socket. So the arm bone will not be in the joint socket properly because they'll have muscle imbalances, right? Their pec major and pec minor will be overdeveloped, and they'll pull the humerus forward into the front of the joint socket, and it's there all the time. And, you know, these people have, like, chronic impingement of the shoulders or rotator cuff issues. And, yeah, there are a lot of things that, like, add to that. And you really have to ask yourself, too, like, what you're training for. You know, like, back in the day when you and I were lifting really heavy, it's like, you know, you had a better excuse than me. You were an athlete. I was just, you know, lifting for fun, but you know, I just wanted to be like dieseled looking, but
Yep.
It's not sustainable. You know, the body, if you are tuned into the ancestral health community at all, and you try to mimic things that our ancestors did, our ancestors were not overhead pressing 225. They weren't bench pressing. You know, these are not natural movement patterns to really be performing with a lot of weight. You know, we would do squats and lunges as our ancestors would, but we wouldn't do these things with 600 pounds. You know, so at a certain point, you know, you just got to ask why you're doing it, and also assess the situation and ask yourself if your body is really designed for that kind of work. You know, long term. You know, it's not sustainable in my opinion. And you know this at your age, anybody that lifts heavy, and a lot of, you know, veteran lifters will tell you this. You don't know anybody by the time they pass, you know, 30, 35 years of age that doesn't have joint problems as a result of this, you know?
Absolutely. And that was the initial draw that I had towards you through your YouTube videos, was you were helping me fix my body, and I picked 3 or 4 things up. I learned from different areas, but I learned more from your YouTube videos than I did in a lot of other areas. And then I started to get closer to you. And then when I saw what you did with your professional training career, I was really blown away, because I haven't been able to do it, and I want to hang around you more so I can do it. So with that being said, we could talk all day long about how we have learned how to fix our own bodies when we work smarter with posture and check out imbalances. Let's get into the professional aspect of training. I usually have a tip of the week in a certain area. I'm going to talk a couple minutes about what I have done to sell a lot of personal training in the past. And then I want you to tell how you, because our training is different. I'm a one-on-one 12-week transformation trainer in my brick and mortar building. You're more of an online trainer now, and you make more of your income, I believe, with your online programs and services. So that I want you to talk about how you sell your packages. So what I do is I don't sell sessions, because we always get a question. Let's just go this way. Blake, let's just start this out this way. I get the question all the time, how much do you charge? All right, I'll tell my response about my service, and then you tell your response about your online programs, and I want to see, I want to learn something from you. So what I say is, I don't tell them how much I charge, because for one, I charge high fees. They don't understand what I'm going to bring to the table. I sell a 12-week program. I tell them I got 5 pillars in my program that I'm going to be a coach for them. Weight training and stretching, everything's personalized. Cardiovascular work that's going to help them get to the goals that we set up. 3 is the food program that's ideal for them. Number 4 is their goals with emotional reasons, weekly goal, 6-week goal, 12-week goal. And I'm going to give them an accountability. All this stuff is done every week. We talk about all 5 of those pillars as we're working out together once or twice or 3 times a week. I hold them accountable outside those workouts. I'm selling them the 12-week package and plan. They have accountability in all those areas. So that whole proven plan, and I got lots of success stories. They see it on the wall at my transformation station. They see it through me role modeling it at 52, looking pretty damn good, I might add. And they believe in it. So then I tell them at the end of the 70-minute consultation that I charge them for, I should have backed up, and I'll talk about that in a second. I sell that program.
That's a good idea.
I sell the whole program. It's $1,000 a month for 2 sessions per week, and it's a $3,000 overall, but they're getting the whole package, the proven plan of action. I don't sell by the hour, I buy the workout. And to back up, and at that point, after the 60, 70-minute consultation, I've already proven to them that I'm really good at what I do. I've already gotten inside their head and seen where they're at, where they think they want, and what they've tried to get there and never got it before. And I tell them that this investment in my proven plan of action is this amount for all the systems and all the pillars in the system. And at that point, it's an investment, and it's not very hard to let them squash any apprehensions they have about what's more painful, the $3,000 for this program, or keep doing what you've been doing and 2-3 years down the road, still be heavy, depressed, not feeling really strong. So that's, you got to sell in my opinion, you got to sell packages, not workouts. And so to back up, before I let Blake have a shot at this, I'll just say that if someone says, how much does it cost? I say, come on in for a consultation. It'll be a 60 to 70 minute, it'll be an hour consultation. I always underpromise and overdeliver in every aspect of my business. I talk to them for 70 minutes, looking them in the eye, talking about them, and having conversation in a loving, strong coaching way. When someone asks me how much that consultation is, I say it's $75. When they walk in, I take the payment for $75, but I tell them going forward at the end of the consultation, I will credit that $75 towards any form of my service. So if you use my service, which you most likely will, the consultation's free. What does that do, Blake, in your opinion, with your knowledge, when you have someone pay $75 for a consultation?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't do that, right? They do free consults. But I think it's really smart to charge for consults, and that's also what I do, because you're doing 2 major things that come to mind when you do that. One is you're kind of vetting out people that are going to be super price sensitive, because you're just, there are people all over the place that are just looking for free and really cheap things. And if you are charging $70, $75 for a consult, then, you're kind of positioning yourself as a premium service, and you're just going to deter a lot of those people that are going to waste your time in the first place. They're never going to come in. They're never going to get to that step with you where they're wasting your time and their own, because they're not going to, do anything with it. And another thing too is you're warming up the person too, and getting them comfortable with paying you, right? Like in marketing, you never want to go from like 0 to 100, right? It's better to have somebody pay you even $1 and then move up to like have them pay you $50 and then $100, right? It's very hard to get somebody to pay you, nothing and jump right to like $3,000 package, right? So just the very fact that you're charging them is also going to, warm them up to paying you more and get them used to that in the future.
That's right. And you get rid of the tire kickers is a simple way to put it. You get rid of the tire kickers. You get paid for your hour. That feels good. It's a total win-win situation. All right, Blake. Yep. So let's get into, let's say your business is, people are watching your YouTube videos. They said, wow, you helped my rotator cuff, Blake. They message you on Facebook. And then let's say I'm your client. I'm the prospect. Hey, Blake, how much do you charge to work with me for 12 weeks to help my hip and my rotator cuff and get me really pain-free? How much you charge, buddy?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm doing coaching online, but I also sell informational products, right? So the info products teach people how to fix very specific issues like anterior pelvic tilt. When somebody opts in for that, the whole marketing process is automated using autoresponders and things like that. So I never have interaction with those people. However, I am still doing coaching too. And that's for people that are more complex, that have a variety of different issues that not one of my particular products can help them with. And they can apply for that. And basically, yeah, I get that question a lot. People are like, how much does it cost to work with you? First of all, I start all my clients with a $125 consult with me that I do via Skype. And then, after that, that's when I make a proposal to them for their coaching package with me. And honestly, the way I'm doing it is kind of weird, and you know, a lot of business coaches and experts would probably tell me not to do this, but I tell all my clients that it costs somewhere between $200 and $800 a month to work with me. And then I'll say, this is like the exact line I'll use. I'll be like, it's $200 to $800 to work with me per month. And that's contingent on a variety of factors. 1, how complicated you are. 2, how much support you want from me. 3, your budget. Things like this I consider when I'm talking to somebody. If somebody has a lower budget, you know, I don't want to turn them down because they you know, have a lower budget. What I'll do is I'll chop back some of my service offering to them to reflect the amount of value that they're willing to exchange with me in the form of money. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody is at the very low end of that spectrum, all they had to spend with me is $200, I would give them a lot less service than what I would give one of my clients that's paying me $800, right? So I would just give them, I'd set them up with my coaching app, maybe just give them exercises like that with no support or anything like that. Whereas somebody on the higher end of the spectrum, somebody that wants to pay me $800 a month, you know, with somebody like that, I can get on, you know, a Skype call with them twice a month for like 30 minutes and include some other goodies. But basically, I make it contingent on each individual. After I've taken them through the assessment process, that's when I quote them what I think would be best for them. And sometimes too, if I don't think I can help somebody, but I think my exercises will have like only a marginal impact on their health and well-being, I know that they're subjectively only going to get a certain amount of value from that, and I might underquote somebody like that too. However, if I see somebody that has lots of joint pain and a million different postural distortions and muscle imbalances that I know that I can help for sure and make them feel a lot better through my exercises, I'll charge that person more because I know that they're going to get a lot more value from going through my coaching program than somebody that I can only help out a little bit.
Blake, how in the hell have you gotten so organized? Whenever I talk to you and see you on your videos and now live, you're so calm. You feel like it seems like you're not rushed. You know, how do you get so organized that you could automate this stuff and set this up? I don't know if people heard me in the beginning, but $30,000 of income recently for 1 month with your businesses, and most of them are online to my knowledge. How the hell did you do that? That doesn't happen haphazardly. How did you make that happen? And how long did you start training clients professionally, and when did you decide to make that change versus training in person, one-on-one?
Yeah, so it might be better to start there. So I became certified when I was 19 to be a trainer. Worked until I was about 23 as a trainer, so 4 years, and that was in a big box gym. Then I graduated from college and I decided I wanted to start my own business, so I opened up a personal training studio. But I was running that terribly. You know, I was working in the business, not on the business, so I was the only trainer in there for like a year and a half, or maybe even 2 years. You know, in there all the time, training all of the clients that were in there, and you know, I was doing well, but I was like working a lot. I didn't know anything about business systems. I knew that online coaching was possible, so what I decided to do was start a YouTube channel after reading Seth Godin's books. You know, one was called The Icarus Deception, one was called Tribes. And I knew I wanted to build my own tribe and market my coaching services to them. So I started my YouTube channel like literally like just a couple months after I actually opened my studio, after I realized how hard it was to like run a studio. And my goal was just to have that be an income stream that supported my main income, which would come from the studio. And eventually, you know, the scales tipped and it became a much greater income stream for me than what I was getting from my studio. And now I'm closing my studio, you know. I'm working with some potential buyers right now, and in October, I'm not going to have the studio any longer. So, but the business, my online business became more profitable than my brick and mortar business over a year and a half ago.
So Blake, you described me just now. To this day, I'm 52 years old. I've been doing this full time for 17 years, and I've been burnt out in the past. I went through a divorce. I lost my kids. Thankfully, I was able to come back, but I'm still grinding hard, one-on-one in my studio. Dude, I got 55,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've tried this, I've tried that. Nothing's worked long term. I'm gonna hire your ass, just so you know. But how did you make it work? Did you hire a coach? Did someone hold you accountable? Because you got I got 150 things to do today that I'm only going to get 20 or 30 of them done. We get spread thin. How did you make it work?
Well, there's a couple things. Yes, I hired mentors. AJ Mirzad, you know him. He really helped me refine my coaching model, which I'll actually be not phasing out, but I'm going to be moving that way up my business model. And that's going to be my like most premium service. Everything else on the lower end is going to be informational products. People that want to work with me in an online coaching context, within the next year here, it's going to be very, very high ticket for them. Very expensive. But yeah, mentors like AJ have helped me. Adam Linkenauger has helped me a lot. He's kind of my YouTube mentor. But yeah, you know, I spent like 50 grand, you know, over the years since I actually started my studio on continuing education. I learned about business systems. A really good book is Work the System by Sam Carpenter. And in that book, I finally learned what a business system was. And I had known that I needed to be systems-based for a long time, but I didn't really know what that meant until I read this book where he makes it very clear. So pretty much after I read that book, I started utilizing my virtual assistant, Remy, a lot more. And now Remy is a critical part of my business. She pretty much does everything for me. She answers emails. She calls people. She, you know, puts together images for me because she's very talented with that for like ads, thumbnail images on YouTube. So I'm not really doing a lot of this stuff online. A lot of it I've delegated to her, and you know, this is stuff that I've paid to learn. You know, I've delegated a lot to her, but when you're online too, you don't need people to delegate things to, right? It's nice to have a virtual assistant who can do things, but there's a lot of software that can do things for you, like little employees that you don't have to pay all the time, right? So I'm using that too. I have a lot of autoresponder programs that are email sequences that get sent out to people that come into my funnels. And I also have different software that I use, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Deadline Funnel. These are all things that like kind of work with each other, you know, so that I can automate processes online. So pretty much everything is automated right now except for the coaching that I still do and the content creation in my business. So making new YouTube videos. Everything else is an automated process that either my virtual assistant takes care of or online software takes care of.
Wow, I'm super impressed, buddy, because I've tried all that stuff. I haven't tried all of it. I've tried some of that stuff, but you know what? I haven't put anything together at this point, and I'm focused on making that change, hanging around guys like you. And
you can absolutely do it with the following of your size on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just yeah, you know, we could talk about that at a different time, but yeah, we could definitely get you know a lot of things going with you on there, Darin, for sure.
Awesome. I'm glad that you're in Chicagoland, right? No, I'm sorry, you're in Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah.
I'm thinking of another young guy that I'm interviewing tomorrow, Tyler Kelly, another young guy that's kicking ass with online stuff. He's in Chicago, and we
all know each other.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and get with him and impress him with my workout so that he can impress me and on hanging around young guys, making having good systems online and helping a lot of people online, and therefore getting rewarded financially for it. And that's one thing I would like to point out. And hopefully most of the trainers here, or maybe want to be trainers, will understand that if you're going to make $30,000 in a month like Blake has, or anything online, and stays consistently and you can grow that, you're helping a lot of people. Money will not follow you if you're not genuinely helping people, at least not month after month after month. Would you agree, Blake?
Yeah, money is just a reflection of the value that you're adding to the world.
Absolutely. And
you want to make more money, add more value.
One thing that I've had to try to weed through with people making money online is the BS and the smoke out there. There's a lot of coaches who are teaching people and coaching people on how to sell training, but they don't know how to satisfy the client. And that usually catches up with them. It's not super hard, I don't think, now for me to decipher through the BS, but it's still confusing. And I've been looking at it for 10 to 12 to 15 years, really, for the length of the industry. So someone new into the industry, just with wide-eyed and bushy-tailed looking out there, could get really confused really fast.
Yeah. And anybody can learn marketing skills and be able to sell a shitty product, right? but that's not how you build a sustainable business that's going to last. You know, when I was in business school, we learned a lot about lifetime customer value. You know, in my marketing classes, LCV, right? And the lifetime value of a customer of your business is, you know, the cost, whatever income they produce for you on their initial transaction with you times infinity, right? So if you're selling a crappy product, you can convince somebody to buy it with your marketing, but if it doesn't add massive value to them, they're not going to be a repeat customer, and you're going to miss millions of dollars potentially moving into the future. You know, so you can market a crappy product or service, but that's not going to be a sustainable model for you.
And as fast as the industry and the world changes, it's not going to last very long. What's your best guess? Someone who's not really bringing value to many people, but bringing in money. I think 3-4 months and they're done. What's your thought?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that, but yeah, you know, not long at all. Probably right around there, you know, before they have to move on to something else to trick people in.
That's right. So I know that you got something coming up in about 9-10 minutes. That's about all we got, Blake. One thing that I definitely want to talk about before we go is getting spread thin with getting pulled in different directions. What's 2 or 3 things that you could share with me and the people listening to guard your time so that you get done what you need to get done and don't waste your time?
Biggest thing is delegating, right? So like writing a list of all of the things that need to be done in the business, right? This is a simple exercise you can go through. Make a list of all the processes, video editing, content creation, opening the facility if you have a facility, training of clients. Make a list of all of the processes and, you know, actions that need to happen in the business, and then circle the ones that only you can do, and circle the ones that, you know, really come out of your zone of genius, as some people call it, the 1% stuff that only you can do, nobody else can do. And then basically take everything that's not circled, delegate that to somebody else, or have a computer system do it for you. Don't spend any time doing things that you can teach somebody else to do. And take a kind of an objective look at your own reality too. Lots of people think, oh, I'm not replaceable, right? Nobody can do this as good as I can do this. That's just false, right? You can take everything that you're doing, put it into exact steps, be very specific and detailed, and you should be able to teach whatever you're doing to somebody else, and they should be able to just follow your procedures and systems for things and give the customer the exact same experience that they had with you. But you're going to be saving your own time because they're going to be handling that, and you can focus on other things that are really only, you know, specific to you, things that only you can do. So it's really a matter of identifying those things, because a lot of times people will see people, you know, like somebody like Tony Robbins, the guy owns like 32 businesses, right? They'll look at that and be like, how does this one guy do that? It's not one guy. He's got hundreds of employees, right? He's only doing a very small fraction of things, but he's a master delegator. And that's really, you know, that for me is one of the things that really like took my business to the next level. That and what we talked about 2 weeks ago, or whenever that was, you know, going to live events too. That's another huge thing that will catalyze a lot of growth in your business. So you can network and meet people and meet new coaches, meet people to collaborate with, partners, so on and so forth.
And to see that it's possible. To look people in the eye, shake their hand. You can usually decipher through the bullshit when you look them in the eye and shake their hand. There's people out there making 10, 20. You're doing pretty good, Blake, at 30 grand in your biggest month here just recently. And this wasn't like a year or two ago. This was just like pretty much what you're doing now. But there's guys out there blowing that away. You want to hang around those guys so that you can evolve and you see it's possible when you go to those live events. Blake, I got to back up and tell you, what you said before that seems so nonchalant. Of course, you know, on the record, that's logical. I've heard it. But you know what? Give me a couple thoughts and ideas back to when you were really stressed, you were getting burnt out, and you didn't have any of this going on. It's not that easy to delegate all that stuff. You got to start somewhere. I honestly think that at this phase of my career, I'm just going to have to put my money where my mouth is and get held accountable to you or someone that I believe in and just follow through, because if I don't, it's not going to get done. I do the same thing for my clients in here in one-on-one training.
Yeah. So that book that I mentioned earlier, Work the System, that really changed my life. Because like I said, prior to that, I had known that it was important for me to be systems-based. Everybody was telling me that, and I had a vague understanding of what that meant. But that book really made it concrete, and it gave me actionable steps that I could take. And it really just comes down to getting started. You identify every recurring process that happens in the business. Opening the facility, that's one. Closing the facility. Everything that we do in life is a process already. It can be broken down into steps, right? Step 1, put the key in the door, right? Step 2, unlock it. Step 3, walk in, turn on all the light. You can, once you start seeing things in a linear sequence of steps, that's where the power comes in, and it really just comes down to working those things, right? Identify all of the recurring processes, everything that has to happen on a regular basis in your business, and then start creating documentation for those, where you detail out how to do that exact thing, like train clients, close the facility, clean the facility, detail it all in step by step, and then basically you have a very easy to follow template that you can delegate to anybody, right? We use software for it, Google Sites, where my virtual assistant, not only will she make written steps on how to do an online task, but she'll also record herself performing the task on a video. She'll screen capture that, and she'll put that on the standard operating procedure page alongside the written steps. So if anybody else in my company decides that they need to figure out how to do that task, they just go to the operating procedure for that task. They see her written instructions and her video on how to complete it, right? But it's really just a matter of getting those things recorded. And that's the hardest part right there. It's like, yeah, you can think about all the processes that are going to happen on a recurring basis in your business, and there's a lot. But, you have to do that work of recording them and putting them in a manual, whether that's in a tangible book or in an online database. You got to starting those things, and that will create a little bit more workload at first, but in the end, it's going to give you a lot more freedom.
Hey, Blake, who's the author of Work the System? I'm going to put it in the show notes.
Sam Carpenter.
Okay. And I think that's a great piece of advice. I know for myself, I'm not a book reader. I shouldn't identify myself as that, but I'm to the point in my career, I'm going to hire someone like yourself so that I just have them hold me accountable. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to do the slow route. I'm going to get this done at this. If I don't get this done at this point in my career, the chances of me doing it down the road are less and less. But it might work for someone starting out that just starting to hear all this stuff about growing their business to online and working smarter, not harder. It's a great idea to read that book for sure.
Without a doubt.
So we got a couple minutes left. You promised me that you had to be off of here at quarter till, so we got 2 or 3 minutes. Blake, let's see. Any other thing that you do at this point of your career to guard your time? Because I'm sure you could even get distracted as well. Is there one more thing real quick, and then I just want to tell people where they can find you at?
Yeah, I mean, I take that delegating model and apply it to pretty much everything in my life. I live in a duplex with my sister, and she probably gets annoyed with this, but I don't do things that a lot of other people do, like yard work, cleaning my car, even cleaning my house. Those things are not in that zone of genius that I talked about earlier. So I don't just apply that model to my business. I apply it to my personal life too. And, I'll pay for people to do things that other people will typically do themselves, just so that I can free up my time and, not spend my personal time doing something that I could pay somebody else to do for me.
Awesome. 1 to 10, how do you feel about where you're at in your life right now, and how happy and fulfilled are you? 1 to 10. Let's just say the average person out there that I see is, they're pretty stressed out. 5 is average, but like the most fulfilled people that I see are around maybe a 6 or a 7, but I think most people are under a 5. Where are you at right now in your life?
In terms of happiness and fulfillment, I'd probably say 7 to 8. Ideally, I don't want to be living in the suburbs like I am right now. I want to have like a a house that's off the grid with goats and chickens and
Cool.
you know, like I want to be, you know, as self-sufficient as possible. That's important for me on a personal thing. But on a business level, you know, I'm like probably like a 10. My business is just growing more and more. I don't have any complaints there, and the future is still looking bright. So, you know,
Boy,
with regards to that, I'm doing great.
I would totally agree with you, Blake. I'm really impressed with you. I hope our relationship continues to grow. I'm really fortunate and happy that you took time out to share with us your experiences. And the people listening, if you want to grow your YouTube channel, to start your businesses, I absolutely know Blake is the guy that I would invest in. At least go search him out on YouTube. Blake Bowman, BlakeBowman on YouTube. And if you have a program that you want to automate and sell online to help people and make continual money that will grow month after month, Blake, I'm pretty sure you could do that for them as well, right?
Yeah. They're not going to find me on YouTube on Blake Bowman, though. Gorilla Zen Fitness is where you'll have to find me there. But yeah, if anybody listening is interested in kind of learning the path that I took, learning how to not only start a YouTube channel, but monetize it once you have some traction going there and you're getting some popularity and you want to learn how to create a business model that's passive around that, then I can help you out with that. Just send me an email, blake@gorillazen.com.
blake@gorillazen.com. Blake, I hope I can find something that's you really want, because you got something that I really want. I'd love to work out a win-win situation with you. We'll see how that pans out down the road. But
yeah, man.
Thanks for your time. Great seeing you. And let's keep kicking booty, learning from other trainers, helping other trainers, and helping people get healthier, buddy. And someday when you have that, when you're off the grid and you got the goats and everything, I'd love to visit you, because I'm all into that as well.
Yes. Love it, man. Thanks for having me, Darin. It's been a pleasure.
All right, buddy. Same here. We'll talk soon, all right? Thanks again.
All right, man. Peace.
Bye-bye. Peace.
Are you going to end the